Hey, everybody, welcome to the Marketing Mirror podcast. My name is Matt Bork. I am a partner, chief creative, and listening officer at the One Group Agency. I'm absolutely pumped that you're here because today's episode is a big one. We're going to be talking about the AI trap, how brands are losing their authentic voice, and how to get it back. I love that you're investing your time into this podcast, and I want to make sure that it's worth every single second for you. So, my goal is to give you real, no fluff insights that you can actually use in your business today. I'm hoping to lighten your load. Every episode of the Marketing Mirror podcast is brought to you by the One Group Agency, and I'm a proud partner here, and I'm incredibly proud of our team. If you haven't checked this out, you got it. So please head over to the og.co and see what we're all about. So today we're going to dive into the AI trap, how brands are losing their authentic voice, and more importantly, how to get it back. AI is unbelievable. It has made content creation faster, easier, and more polished than ever. But let me ask you this. When was the last time you saw a post and you thought, wow, this speaks to me? This is me. How did they even know this about me? And if you're thinking, well, I don't even remember the last time something spoke to me like that, then I'm going to ask you why. It feels like everything's starting to sound the same, doesn't it? And that's the AI trap. Brands are outsourcing their voices, their messages, and their identities to machines. And today I'm going to break down exactly why that's happening, why it's a problem, and most importantly, how you can use AI without losing what makes your brand unique. So the problem. How AI is creating an authenticity crisis. Okay, so let's be honest, AI is incredible. I love it. I use it every single day. It's fast, it's efficient. I even used it to help me with this scripting because I wanted to make sure that I added value to your guys' lives. It can make a blank screen way less intimidating. And I know firsthand how difficult that can be, especially when you're creating content for multiple brands, which I've done. To put that brand's hat on and then dive into their personality, their tone, their values to humanize that brand, it's exhausting. I mean, I even took a breath there because even just going back to it in my mind is exhausting. So a lot of time people resort to what they know. They'll take the easy route, especially when they're being pushed to create more content faster. But here's the thing, we've got a problem. AI generated content is everywhere. And because of that, so many brands are relying on it way too much. Everything's starting to sound the same polished tone, the same structured captions, the same overused phrases like game changer, which annoys me so much. And honestly, that's a problem because marketing isn't just about getting content out there. It's about real connection. And if your brand sounds like every other brand, you're not connecting, you're just blending in. And blending in doesn't grow businesses. It doesn't build relationships. It doesn't create what we as businesses are actually after. Trust. Okay. I'm going to actually just go on a little bit of a mini rant here because I want you to know that more content is not the goal. More connection is. But too many businesses, whether you're running a marketing team, managing your own brand, or you're working as part of a marketing group for another business, are just chasing speed instead of strategy, quantity instead of quality. And I could go on a whole rant about this because if we ask why this is happening and we really dig into it, a lot of times it's a culture thing. And that is a whole other podcast that we could dive into. If you want me to talk about that, we can talk about those things. But what really bothers me is who suffers from this, right? Like who pays the price for a culture that prioritizes speed over quality? It's not the marketing team, it's the target audience. That's the unfortunate part because when businesses fall into the trap of just get it out fast, they might think that they're keeping up with demand or they're checking a box of leadership. But if the content doesn't connect, then what's the point? Who's benefiting from that? Definitely not the audience we're supposed to be serving. So just when you think you're pleasing everyone internally by being quick, by churning out more content, you're actually just creating content that lacks depth. It lacks engagement and true impact. And that sucks. AI is a tool, but is not a replacement for what truly makes marketing work, which is human connection. So the shift, why audiences are craving authenticity more than ever. People don't want more content. And I'm going to say that again. People do not want more content. They want real content. And if you haven't realized that by now, then we're being absolutely flooded with noise every single day. And the interesting thing is that we all want to cut through the noise. And so I ask you, does shouting louder actually cut through the noise, or should we be listening? Audiences are craving authenticity, but what does that even mean? Right? Like we hear it so much, authenticity. But what does it mean? I've always understood it to be genuine and real. I also feel like it's a connection to who we are. And as brands, we need to humanize and we need to get that connection out there. That's why behind the scenes videos, raw storytelling, unscripted moments perform so well. In fact, even when I was doing this script, I had really worked so much into this script, but I wanted to remain real and authentic. And I tried to put in areas in there, even little hiccups of ways that I speak, because that's how I talk. And the AI did this amazing script. And I was like, that is not how I talk. It's unbelievable and probably a lot smarter than I am, but it wasn't how I talked. So what we want to do is we want to truly engage with people. We want to cut through that AI noise and remind people that there's actually humans on the other side of the screen. And I think it's unbelievable. It's essential. We need to remember that. How do brands reclaim their authentic voice? So I kind of wanted to come up with like a few steps that could help you. So here's the action plan: how brands can reclaim their authentic voice. How do we fix this? How do we use AI as a tool alongside us without losing what makes our brand, your brand, unique? And let me just say this isn't like the only answer. This isn't like this is it. I'm just saying this is what I've done, this is what I've tried, and this is what I've seen work. So step 1, define what makes your brand unique. What's your brand's actual personality? Not just adjectives, but real values, real struggles, real beliefs. I've spoken to brands and asked that very question, and their reply is, I don't know. Or they say, well, if you walk into our office, we have our values, posted up on the wall. And it makes me laugh every single time, because here's the thing: if those are your true values, those core values that you live out every single day, then I should be able to grab a coffee, maybe walk around for half an hour to an hour and just see those values being lived out. Plastering those words on a wall, which I think you guys can all relate, we've all seen those, that doesn't mean you're living out those values. And if they're not being lived out, then that's not your culture. That's not what people experience when they interact with your brand. And guess what? If I can feel it, if I can see it, and I can see it quickly, so can your target audience. Even when they only see you on social platforms, they're smart. People want to do business with people. Your brand needs to feel human. It needs to be human. You need to humanize your brand. Step 2, use AI as an assistant, not a replacement. AI is an unbelievable starting point. I love it as a starting point, but it should not be the final voice. I use it all the time to just dump my thoughts out as a starting point. So let's guide AI with deep prompts, reflecting your tone, your experiences, your unique take. And I was actually doing some research for this podcast on actual prompt engineers. I listened to a few podcasts on people that are experts in prompt engineering, and they were saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I might be wrong on this, but it blew my mind. They said if your prompt is less than 5,000 words, which I think is a lot, then you're doing it possibly wrong. And I'm going to let that sink in, that a proper AI prompt could possibly be pages and pages long. It should be so in-depth that AI understands everything about your brand as a human being, while adding clarity, structure, and context. That's how you guide AI to create with you, not replace you. Human oversight is non-negotiable. AI generated content should always be edited so it sounds exactly like you, because guess what? It is you. We use AI as an assistant, as a tool, but not as a replacement. Step 3, infuse more human touch into the content. Share real stories, behind the scenes moments, personal insights. Why do behind the scenes moments or behind the scenes videos perform so well? It's a question I love to ask. Anything that engages well with your target audience, ask why. Why did that perform so well? And sometimes there's a reason, because audiences are looking for realness. They're looking for authenticity. So involve real voices, right? Involve your customers, your employees, your founders. They don't have to be perfect. They want authenticity. They want them to be real. People want to know that they can trust you, and real voices help build that trust. Less content, but more meaning. Prioritize connection over volume. And I'm going to say that again: less content, more meaning. I kind of skipped over it, but I really do think it's important. Let's prioritize connection over volume. So I ripped through these things because I just wanted to give you a short little, actionable steps that I know are going to absolutely help you reclaim your authentic voice. So I appreciate you guys all sticking around with me through this one. It was a lot, and I gave it to you quickly. Again, re-listen to it, because there's a lot of great stuff in there. It's going to be in the show notes. If this episode gave you something to think about, share it with your team, with your community, and anyone you feel needs to hear this. And if you have any ideas for future episodes that you want to be a guest, or you'd like to be a guest, because I would love to interview you, please hit me up at Bork, B-O-R-C-K, at the OG.co. And I want to give a big shout out to our incredible team at the One Group Agency for making this podcast possible. They are unbelievable. I am so proud of them, and I'm so proud to introduce any one of you who wants to work with us to them. So check them out at the OG.co. Okay, guys, I hope you loved this podcast. Have a brilliant day and stay curious.